Okay. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. I have a very special guest with me today. His name is Joseph Ojo. He is a news reporter and alumni of UB. Joe, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Happy to be here. It feels great to get this opportunity to talk to the people.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy that you wanted to take an opportunity to talk to the people. So thank you so much.
No problem
Um,
at
so
all.
yeah, Yeah, I'm so excited to dive right in. I just want to get started and ask some questions because I know you're going to have such great information to share. Does that sound good to you?
Oh yes, for sure. Perfect. Let's get to
Awesome.
it.
Awesome. Let's do it. Okay, so I think it's important to start from the very beginning because, I feel like where people start out has a huge impact on like where they're going to end up. So I just wanted to hear a little bit about where you're from and what it was like growing up for you.
Well, originally from New York City, so that was a great experience. Like there's no city like New York City. It's a big
Yeah.
city, a lot of things to do around there. Like the environment, the
Hmm.
people. Even growing up watching New York City news. It's just
Yeah.
it's a lot going on, and there's always something to do and something to keep you interested. So like then after from there, I went out to university at Buffalo too as well,
Hmm.
and then after like ended up in Fargo, North Dakota, and now I'm here where I am right now in Fort Myers, Florida.
Oh my goodness. And like I've seen that you're in Florida. I'm so jealous because as you know, I'm still in Buffalo. It's cold. And wish I was in Florida, but totally can relate to the New York City thing. I did a few internships in New York City and it's definitely a lot of hustle and bustle, but like you said, the news and everything, it's just so great to kind of be in a space where that all like happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it really
So
it really
cool.
does it really does like kind of like shape you into kind of who you are too, just being from a city like that. Just you
Hmm.
learn everything that like you see everything. So you've seen it all. You know what I mean? So you have an experience that's just like wow. It's just eye opening. So like yeah.
Yeah. So cool. Awesome. Okay, so now my next question for you is what was your college journey like? How did you pick UB? And just kind of share like did you always want to go to UB or was it something that you kind of narrowed down? What's your like getting to college story?
Well, getting to college, in high school, I went to Tottenville High School. It's in Staten Island, New
Hmm.
York, on the South Shore. I was actually a football player, so from
Awesome.
with football, I wanted to, go to a lot of these big schools, Division I schools, this and that, So
Yeah.
that ended up leading me to like a junior college out in Buffalo, New York. Sorry, yeah, Buffalo, New York. It was in
Okay.
Erie Community College, and then from
Hmm.
there is when I like did a semester there, and then after I said, you know what, UB would be the place for me and everything like that. So for some time I was still thinking about football and all that stuff, but then after I was like, you know what, you gotta start thinking about a life after it, and other things came up. So I was just like, you know what, maybe this is the best thing for me is to now start focusing on like just a career. And I always knew I wanted to do something with being on the screen. So
Yeah.
that's when I decided like, hey, like UB is the place for that. They have a
Yeah.
communications program and all that stuff. So then after from there was my second semester, the spring semester of the freshman year. That's when I went to UB, and I thought
Hmm.
that was probably a great choice that I made. Staying like local, close to family and everything like that. I had two other brothers who were out there in school, so
Hmm.
everything worked out and all that stuff. Money wise, it made sense too as well. So
Right.
UB wasn't like originally like a school that I always thought of from the start, but like I'm
Hmm.
happy that I like came upon it and like like. And I feel like you should never underestimate the power of like a community college because that'll really
Right.
give you a chance to like open up your mind and have to be like, oh, there's these other schools, so it gives you a chance to really decide what school do I want to commit to for the next 2, 3 plus years, so
Yeah, 100%. We have very similar beginnings because I too went to community college before I went to UB, and I'm such a big advocate for community college. For me, it really gave me time to figure out what I wanted to do, and it was just a great learning time for me because I realized soon like I was not ready to go to a big school right after high school. Like it wouldn't have worked out at all, but community college gave me that time to figure out what I wanted to do and kind of align myself. And similar to you, when I was in high school, I did a little bit of cheerleading and I always was like, oh, it'd be so cool to do cheerleading in college. But, I kind of did the same thing where I was like, okay, like maybe I want to focus more on like career path. So that's just so funny how we're similar like that. But I love that. I love that story. Um, was there any moment you said you always wanted to be something on like a news on TV, but like did you have like a moment where you were like, this is definitely like what I want to do? Like, I know that's what I'm supposed to be doing.
Well, I mean, it's funny because like, a lot of people probably look at me and laugh at this, but like at one point I wanted to actually be an actor, so
Did
I knew,
you?
yeah, I definitely did.
Wow.
But I knew acting would involve, moving all the way to like, cause that's the thing, anything with like, being on screen, you got to be willing to
Yeah.
move, so
Yeah.
I knew that would involve me going all the way to like, let's say California, cause like
Right.
that's the big primetime city. And I was just like,
Yeah.
that would be from New York to one end to California. That's just like extremely far. But then after I still ended up going to Fargo. So like from there
Right.
is when I like changed. I was like, I think it was, I want to say January of 2017 is when I knew for sure. I was like, oh yeah, this is definitely like my thing. Like I am definitely going for like news reporting because I always had a background in sports. Could have did sports anyhow. Like I could call a game in the back of my hand, but I wanted something more challenging. So I said, you know what,
Yeah.
news is the way to go.
Hmm.
Every time they look at the black guy, they expect the black guy to go into sports. So I
Right.
said, you know what? Let's change that. Let's do news. Let's do what they don't expect us to do. So that's the
Right.
type of person I am. I'm always gonna go against the grain, So that's what I
Yes.
did. And then after from there, I was like, all right, news is what I want to do. I started like January 2017 is when I started focusing more. I said, look, it's time to like start looking for everything you can, whether internships, any little jobs you could do, whether it's running papers for like little, little stations or radio stations, this and that.
Right.
Getting if it was getting the anchor of coffee, you know, do
Whatever
something to
you had
just
to
get the
do.
yes, just do something
Yeah.
to get the foot in the door, and that's what I was
Right.
like so big on. And then after from there is just when I said, all right, like this is news is what I want to do. January 2017, I started focusing in more on it, watching everything from the national to the local news, even the
Hmm.
the cable news and everything like that. So
Right.
from there was when I knew, all right, news is what I'm gonna do, and I stuck with it, and I said, all right, got to go through with it, and it was just from there, just everything kind of like took its course, and then after and ending in December of 2017 was like a perfect thing too as well. So I got a job like right after that too as well. So
So awesome. So great. Awesome. So another question I have for you was about your time at UB. How was it as a student at University of Buffalo?
well, it was a good experience. I
Mhm.
definitely knew for a fact, like since I was there a little earlier too as well in the freshman year, freshman fall too
Mhm.
as well. I didn't go exactly to UB, but I got a chance to really connect with a lot of people. Make friends just 'cause I had a brother going there
Right.
and all that stuff. So it was
Mhm.
good to get around and see a lot of things. So I kind of knew what I was getting myself into before I got there. So the experience was great. There was
Mhm.
it was so diverse and you really had a chance to like kind of like break out into so many different things and see what you wanted to do. I know for a fact, like I got to take certain classes that like opened me up and prepared me for what I'm doing right now, whether it's public
Mhm.
speaking, just a ton of classes that you could really do to kind of like just set yourself up, like that really opens you up and kind of tests your skills and your
Yeah.
ability to do things. So I know a lot of those classes that I took really prepared me, ethics of journalism, things like that just prepared me for what I am doing today. So like it was a great experience. I really did enjoy it. It went by fast, but
Yeah.
I
It
mean,
flies by.
yes, but it was definitely a great experience to like kind of just go through UB and then have to kind of gain more because being in Buffalo, a lot of people don't wouldn't understand that, but like it's a big market size too as well. So to get like
Mhm.
internship experience there too as well, like like I was able to intern for the CBS affiliate out there,
Yes.
WIB, which was a great opportunity, and I feel like
Yeah.
that is number one. Like I will always be in debt to those folks over there just because like they kind of helped me get to where I am today without a doubt.
Right. Let's talk about that internship. So how did you find that? Yeah, how did you find that internship?
What that internship is just a constant search every day. Like
Mhm.
like I said, from January 2017 when I decided I wanted to be a news reporter, I knew from there I had to start searching for every and any little thing, like
Yeah.
whether it was radio, news, and like there was this other station out there, the NBC affiliate, WGRZ, which I
Hmm.
definitely was like looking into because it was like it was like everyone was like, oh no, it's a paid internship, it's a paid internship, and everyone wants a little money, but then after I was
Right.
just like, what, money ain't everything, So I was like, look, I'm starting off. It's just it's about getting a foot in the door. So I
Yeah.
said, look, like what I mean, like I wasn't pushing off WIVB or something like that, but I had like said, maybe I'll try to put my eggs into the paid one a little. So I was like, what, to avoid having a job and all that stuff and just be interning and getting money would be perfect. But then after I said, what, it's time to focus. Like you need this. You want a job here and all that stuff. So came fall time, about August and all that stuff, I just kept calling every day. Like, I mean, every other day I was calling. I was, sending emails, filling out
Yeah.
applications over and over, just so they could like see my name and be like, this kid is hungry and all that stuff. But Some of the
Yeah.
mistakes I made though was that I will call and not leave a number to call back on. So that was the young me that didn't really understand that like people are
Right.
gonna call a person back who they have their number. They don't want to have to look back into the phone and be like, who called me? So
Right.
and after I
Yeah.
remember the internship coordinator, great person, Nancy Sanders, she had told me that you shouldn't do that and all that stuff. So from there everything went good. She brought me in on a interview that went smoothly and everything like that. And just that experience alone was just amazing because like I got to go. I remember my first day like there. I got to go to like the Bills. I would have never stepped foot on a Bills field ever before in my life.
Yeah.
I was in a Bills locker room, got to meet some of the players,
Wow.
ask questions and all that stuff. So it just opened you up. Like my first day there, I had experience in the sports field
Right.
and just I was doing it. And then after from
Yeah.
there, I never got a chance to do sports after that again, really. But news is what I knew I wanted to do. So I just every day I was getting a chance to do news and all that stuff. So I had a reporter named Jen Shans, great person too as well. She's doing her thing now as well, and it's just amazing that I had the opportunity to really like shadow her in the field, learn so much from her. And she
Yeah.
teach me about markets. What to do when you're live. How to shoot, how to this, how to that, how to operate a camera. So
Right.
it's just everything I got from there was just amazing. Like even just countless amount of names of people over there who have helped me. So
Yeah.
and a photographer by the name of Dan, he helped me shoot all my stuff with a reel. Because a reel is very
Hmm.
important for any on-air job you want to do. And
Right.
I was able to shoot a reel, and that reel was what got me the job in Fargo, North Dakota. So
Wow.
all that stuff is what you just gotta always keep doing it. Like I could have been that
Right.
intern that sat at the desk and played around at the computer and did homework, but no, I was the one that just I wanted it more, and I wanted to like get out there and
Right.
kind of hey, I need to get in the field, do this, and then anytime I got a chance to go out with any reporter, I made it my duty to do that. So
Yeah.
mm,
And I can tell like that drive and that ambition, like you need that to get to like
so
I feel like people always say like one of the hardest things is to try and find a job after graduation, right? But I feel like, we're similar in the sense that we wanted it so bad, and you emailing people, calling people, doing like whatever you had to do to get your name out there, like that is so awesome. And that's something I really want to communicate on this channel too, is that, you have to be your biggest cheerleader, right? You have to
true.
believe in yourself, or otherwise other people aren't going to believe in you if you can't even say, hey, like I'm worth it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
no, you have to
yeah.
honestly believe in yourself because no one else is gonna do it for you. Everything
Right.
you got to get on your own, and that's one thing too as well. The job search doesn't start after you graduate.
Right.
It should have been started already
3 months
before.
beforehand.
Yeah, so because
Yeah.
that's really important. Like I know I was applying, like I was still in my internship while I was applying to jobs
Same. Yeah.
on air because it's just like, look, like I know I'm finishing now. I need to have something. I can't just go back home and just you know
Right.
just not have anything.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Especially being like far from home too. It was like a very, I know for me, very crucial time. I had a month to find a job, find an apartment. Otherwise, like I had to figure something out or go back home. And I knew in my head and my heart, I did not want to go back home. I was like, I'm going to find this job and I'm going to make it work. And, I think if you have that mindset and you want it bad enough, like you can definitely make it happen, which is
so true.
awesome. Yeah.
So true.
And the other thing I want to talk about too is how important, it is for internships and to have a chance. Like you were talking about all the people that helped you. And I know in my internships too, like just, I was so grateful for those people like taking a chance on me, because at one point in time, you don't have experience, right? Like you're just coming from like a retail job or some just little job that you had like before college or while you were in college. So it is, it's so important to like thank those people and like recognize those people as well.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I mean, honestly, everything is an experience. If you swept
Yeah.
the floor, that's
Right.
experience.
Yeah.
You never know how one job could like help you in a way. Because I know for a fact
Yeah.
I had a marketing internship and everything like that. And I
Mhm.
remember when my news director back in Fargo saw that, he kind of like asked about it, and they kind of wanted to know how can that play a role into like you got to use whatever asset you have to kind
Yeah.
of like help you in whatever job. So he wanted to know how that could play a role. So I'm like, I'm good with selling things and this and
Yeah.
that. So like, it's little things like that, So every type of
100%.
experience is great, and internships are just amazing, Like I know for a
Yeah.
fact that internship that I did at WIVB, being respectful to everyone, just
Yeah.
showing the drive to work and all that stuff. Like you start having people like seeing your work now. Like I know the news director at WIVB right now, Lisa Polster. She looks at some of my stuff. We've actually connected on like Twitter and all that stuff. So it's good to
Yeah.
have those connections in the future because
Yeah.
I know for a fact, you know what I mean. I'm gonna need another job soon or something like that. So
Right.
it's always about moving up and making those connections.
Yeah.
She would know someone. Same thing with internship coordinator Nancy Sanders, Jen Sean's a reporter I worked with. Even Allie Ingersoll, she's not there anymore. But like, there's all these people that like kind of help you along the way. It's just you just got to be
Hmm.
grateful for taking you out and showing you in the field and just even giving you the management people giving you the opportunity to kind of be there, not just be like the paper guy. They want you out there
Right.
doing stuff, and they gave great recommendations too when I was starting my
Yeah.
first job. So yeah.
It's so important never to burn bridges. I've always been big on that, just like being as respectful and nice as possible. And sometimes you may run into somebody that isn't going to be as nice to you, but you just got to like kill them with kindness. And you want people to like leave knowing like that person was great. Like she was always nice. He was always respectful. He was always on it 100%. So really big on that as well, not burning bridges. The other thing I wanted to say too is going back. So was that internship paid or unpaid, the one you ended up doing?
That was the unpaid internship and everything like
Right.
that. But I thought it was probably the best thing ever because like
Yeah.
looking back at it, like I didn't actually do the WGRZ internship, but like I knew someone who
Mhm.
did, and they said they would just kind of like more be on the digital side of things on the computer. And
Yeah.
like nothing to anyone who does computer, but I'm the type of person I like
Hmm.
to get out there and feel and like feel that thing.
Right.
So my unpaid internship was probably the best ever because I got out there in the field. I was doing reports, getting that opportunity to do stand-ups, reports, all that stuff. I just think that was amazing. Like you don't get that
Mhm.
by sitting. News don't happen in the office. It happens
Right.
outside. So getting that opportunity to do all that stuff out there, I think the unpaid internship was the best thing. And I did it like almost a job. Like I was 9 to 4 over there, but I wanted to
Hmm.
show them that I had that hunger, I had that desire to kind of do it all the time. You know what I mean? And they respected it. I
Yeah.
would go field with them, had enough time to come back, see them edit their stories, learn editing
Mhm.
systems as well. So it's a lot
Right.
you can learn. And, I did get a chance to do the digital side as well, too, but I also got a
Mhm.
chance to do what I wanted to do. I was able to like get behind the desk and, do some anchor reads too as well, which I was able to incorporate into my reel. So just everything.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah.
And I was gonna say too, like I also had an unpaid internship, and I know it stinks. Like at first you're like, oh man, I really want a paid one, but my unpaid internship was a great internship experience wise. I was in New York City at a PR firm. It was a beauty PR firm. Um, I worked there 3 days a week, and then I worked like a retail job on the other days, so I still had that income. But it was such great experience. I was literally planning events like in Paris. I was creating press kits to go to all the influencers, and the other thing too is like for me at the end of that internship, I got a great gift basket of all the luxury makeup brands we had been working with. So it was totally worth, in my opinion. I think it is important to try and find those paid internships, but I know I don't disregard the unpaid ones because some of those, while they're not paid, they can have the best hands-on experience, and you're always going to get somebody to speak for you, like a recommendation. Typically, they'll
Sure.
always be willing to do that, so it's still valuable,
Yeah,
which
and
I
you don't want
think
to ever make it like it's like, all right, I'm just getting a check all the time. You
right.
know, if you're not getting paid for it, I feel like you'll get the most out of that experience because you're
Yeah.
gonna do everything you have to do because you're not getting paid, so you're gonna do everything you have to do to make sure you get the best out of it. If you're getting paid, at the end of the day, you're gonna be like, at least I got money out of it. But
Yeah.
when it's unpaid, you're working your hardest. So any type of
Mhm.
internship is great, whether paid, unpaid.
Right.
Just get after it and get the opportunity. It's about getting a foot in the door. So.
For sure. 100%. Another question I had for you is, what's one piece of advice that you would tell somebody in college right now?
Just always be open. It's as simple as that. Always be open.
Yeah.
Never close your mind off. You never know what you're gonna do. Like, you can go to school to like, all right, I was thinking of a law track, like, because at one point I
Hmm.
wanted to be a lawyer too. I had like, the track of oh, I want to do law. It just
Hmm.
changes. You just have to be open. You know what I mean? And you
Yeah.
can do a lot with any degree. You know, there's
Hmm.
people who do like, exercise science, psychology, and they still end up
Right.
being reporters. It's just got to be
Yeah.
open. You never know what can happen. So and always if you like, if you're like a young, aspiring person, just always be open and willing to move. Your opportunity
Yeah.
may not come in your city of comfort. You're gonna have to like, get out there and just take a shot somewhere else. But
Yeah.
that shot may propel you to another level. So it's about just being open. That's
Yeah.
that's the best advice I could give is just be open, never close your mind off to anything because you never know. And always build those connections. Be nice to every little person you can.
Yeah.
Because you never know when that other person, that person who you may see as the lowest point in your, like, at their career and all that stuff, may be your boss one day. So
Right.
just always see it as this person could just somehow, what if that person just hit the lottery and they brought
Right.
your company,
Right.
So
Yeah. You have
if
to
the
treat
lowest,
everybody with
yeah,
respect.
like
Yeah.
the interns I see at every company, I just like, I treat them with respect, because if they hit the
Right.
lottery today, they could buy my company, and then after, it could
Right.
happen like that.
They might hire
So
you, right? Make you
true.
the COO of the company.
That is very,
Just
very
because you
true.
were
So
nice to them.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's why you have to just honestly always just, that's the one thing, is just be nice to everyone, because you never know who knows who.
Well, thank you so much for sharing all that stuff. I shared out a video that I was going to be sitting down with you today, and we got some really great questions. I was so excited when people were writing questions in. I got a lot of answers, but I've selected a few to feature today, so I'm going to ask them to you. Let me
No
pull
problem.
them up really quickly. So our first question was from Tony Proctor. And he says, "Hi, Joe and Whitney. My question for Joe is, do you have a personal website or anything like that you keep your experience on? And how has that helped you and your job search, specifically for the interview process?"
I actually did have a personal website that I use from the class I took, Com 447 at UB. Great teacher. She made us develop a site that it would just have our personal stuff and all that. I had it for a while, but I haven't maintained it, just because of the fact that things get a lot, like, very, very busy and all that stuff.
Right.
But I think it's great to have a website. I've definitely taken all the stuff that I had on that website and pretty much put it towards LinkedIn. So, LinkedIn could be your own personalized website too, as well.
100%.
All my videos, everything I do, all my work is there, experience, everything that people need to know about me, bio, resume, all that stuff. But like, I did have a website, but now that actually is brought up, I should probably go and update that a bit, because I've been using LinkedIn. I've been using LinkedIn so much. So that's a great question, because now that question makes me want to go back and, kind of take care of that website. But LinkedIn is definitely my go-to personalized websites. A lot of people use Wix and all these other sites as well.
Right.
So
Yep.
there's a lot of sites out there that you can use, but like, it's definitely great to have a personal site, because then people get to know more of you. People get to see your journey, your progress, because everyone's going to have a different path. But some people just need to see that, hey, this is how he did it. Maybe my path will be different, but I need to know how. It's just giving people an insight, so.
Yeah, 100%. I have my personal website, and I always love to throw that if I'm in an interview, like, oh, by the way, yeah, I have a copy of that on my website. And they're always like, you have a website? And I'm like, yeah, whitneysingleton.com. And they're like, I feel like just like the fact that you can create, because it's so easy with Wix, that's what I use. The fact that you can create your own website and be like, oh yeah, go to my website. A lot of that like resonates with people, and they're like, wow, like this person can create a website. Even if you're just using Wix, it still shows like you have, that drive to be like, okay, yeah, I'm going to create this website for myself. So I think having a personal website, I'm a huge fan of it. Also a huge fan of LinkedIn as well. I'm always preaching, like, you need to be on LinkedIn. Like, it's such a great resource.
Yes, everybody is just so connected on LinkedIn, so you got like third-party connections, so it's just always something to be seen. Yeah, and that's definitely like the website thing as well. I definitely use that when I'm like looking for jobs and applying, but like I'm pretty stable and settled right now. So
yeah, that's the goal, isn't it?
Yep.
Awesome. Yeah, I think it's normal to like have your moments. Obviously, when you're searching, that's when you want to keep that stuff up. But once you're settled and you're happy, you kind of push it to the side a little bit, I think, and focus more on networking every day or going to networking events. So that I totally get that.
Yep.
Emily Wortinger asks, okay, she said, okay, my question is specifically about portfolios because I find them intimidating. After high school, how did you get started? What did your portfolio look like? And how did you decide what is quality enough content to add to it? Did you do a lot of internships to add to your portfolio? And were other reporters helpful?
Well, going off the end part of that question,
Sure.
Didn't do a lot of internships. Like I said, I had a marketing internship earlier in the interview, and also as well the reporting internship at WIVB. So it's not about how much you have, but it's what you do with that one internship you get. Because like I feel like that one internship I had at WIVB, for 3 months or so, that was enough to get me my first job. And you don't need. Some people will intern at the Today Show and be a production assistant or something like that, and have all these years and years of stuff. It's just like, that's great and all too as well. Like those people are gonna like get far, but it's just the
Hmm.
fact of the matter, that one that you get, that's your opportunity. So
Yeah.
whatever internship you get is just take that as your opportunity and just run with it. So I know for a fact that I didn't have a lot of internships, but you make sure that the one that you do have, put that on there,
Hmm.
brand it
Yep.
and sell it in the best way you can. If they ask
Yep.
you about whatever experience you have, use that internship as your experience. So
Hmm.
never hold out on anything. And just also as well, yes, reporters were very helpful. They gave me the best of the best advice because they were in my shoes. What, not even like 3 to 2 years ago, because
Right.
at that station, a lot of them were there. That was their like about their second job and all that stuff. So
Okay.
they worked at a job for like another 2 years before that. So they were just like kind of like in their second or third year at that time. So they gave great advice and everything. So it's just you can learn from the people who's in your industry at the moment. So
Hmm.
always take everything they say. You don't have to do everything that they do, but just
Right.
learn from them and take every tip that they like give you and throw you away because they know
Hmm.
it. They went through it, so they know what to expect and all that stuff. And portfolios are amazing.
Hmm.
Like I still keep one to today. I remember I first developed a portfolio I think in my sophomore year of college,
Okay.
and I've honestly used that throughout time. Like, you know what I mean? I'm sure I'll probably be 35 looking for a job and I'll still have a portfolio because
Yeah.
it's amazing. You want to have everything. You want to have that structure. All right, I have this, cover letter, employment. Start with your table of
Hmm.
contents because everything is about organization. If a person doesn't
Hmm.
have to like go around and be like, oh, where am I looking? Just organization and show them that like, hey, this is what I have. This is what I've done, and any work is good to put in there. I'm not saying
Hmm.
don't put your worst work in there, but any work is good to put in there. Just show
Yeah.
them that you have done work. Even if they see
Hmm.
your work, they may see something that they can work with. They may be like, hey, I see potential in this writing or something like that, or
Yeah.
in this piece or this project that you did or something like that. So it's just about like putting something out there because you don't want to have a blank portfolio. So
Right.
nothing is off the table, but don't
Right.
put something that would just make you look like a total, just embarrassment. So just
Yeah.
anything that is good because you can learn.
Hmm.
Like I know I put like a couple of sports pieces that I wrote for like schools school projects and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I put that in there. Like I was writing about like I think it was a championship game with the Cavs and the Warriors, and then after
Hmm.
from there I wrote about that, just showing that I could write like in a newspaper print type of form and all that
Yeah.
stuff. And just it's just showing that you're versatile. Because everything comes back to writing. So
Right.
just show that you can do something, and hey, I'm sure someone will see it. And like I say, nothing is off the table when it comes to portfolio
Hmm.
because you can put a lot in there, but you want to put your best stuff first and all that stuff. You can have your best two samples in there, but then if you have a third or fourth sample, put it towards the end. If they
Hmm.
really like that portfolio, they'll get there. You know what I mean?
Right.
But put your best stuff first, and they'll see it.
Yeah, 100%. And I agree with you on like always putting all your experience there. I've always said, you never know what the hiring manager will see in the experience you've had. Like you said, they could see something and say, oh, I could work with this, or make a connection that maybe you didn't think of right off of the top of your head. I know I've worked with people, talk to friends where they're like in an engineering internship and they thought, oh, I don't want to put my retail experience on there. I said, no, like engineers, like they have like a problem where they're worried that students don't know how to interact. I would say, I worked in the Graduate School of Engineering and Applied Sciences, so I know they're worried about kids being not able, that interpersonal skills. So I said, having a retail there shows you know how to walk up to a person, communicate with them, offer them, this shoe or this hat or whatever. So I said, leave that on. And they went to an interview, and that's exactly what they said. They said, we're glad we saw retail because it shows you have those interpersonal skills. So you just never know. It might not come to you, but again, like just putting all that experience on there, you never know what's going to resonate with somebody. So I'm big fan of putting it all on there. Like you said, best stuff at the top and just put all the other stuff at the bottom. And like you said, they'll get to it. If they're happy and they want to keep reading, they're going to get to the other stuff as well.
So true. So true.
Yep. The last question we have is from Natalie Sleep. She wanted to ask, she said, I would like to ask Joe what he does to prepare before he has to present live. What does he do to feel confident in front of the camera? And this is like a question for me too, because you look so professional on that camera. Oh my goodness, every time I'm watching, I was like, wow, like what is his prep? What does he do? So this is also a Whitney question as well. So let
Yeah.
us know, what is it?
Well, you see, it's everyone has their own thing. I like to try to not get too much into my head when I am going on air, because like I know that's one thing I can like struggle with at times. Is like if you get too much into your head and you think you have to memorize each and every word, then after you'll stutter because you're thinking, oh, I have to say it this way. But you know what I mean?
Right.
The great advice I've gotten from countless amount of people is just like, you know what you're telling. The person who's at home doesn't know what you're gonna say.
Yeah.
You have to like kind of like, make them buy into what you're telling them. So it's really about just you depicting it and saying it's like how I'm talking to you right now. That's how I
Hmm.
need to present to my like the people who are the viewers and stuff like that. Like the
Right.
way you talk to your mom, the way you would talk to this and that. Don't be like, the guy stuck in the mud, stuck in the sand, just thinking like, oh, I have to be this way, sound this way, and say this and that. Because there's many times you're gonna go back and revert to that, and then you'll have a stumble or something like that. But you can always catch yourself. But it's just about not
Hmm.
worrying about if you do stumble, like you're human. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
keep going, and just what I pretty much do to prepare is just honestly, like every photographer that have worked with me, they'll just see I just take a deep breath. That's all it is.
Just one,
It's
and it's
just
good to go.
one. Yeah, and just you gotta go. And then after, just like what I do a lot is I run that first line through my head 24/7. Just I'm running
Yeah.
that line as the people are talking in my ear. I'm just running that line through my head, and I'm just running it. And then after once I get past that first line, everything is just like that's me. That's like me just talking at that point. But I just gotta
Yeah.
remember to start, because the start you like to keep kind of consistent with what you're
Yeah.
kind of say, what you wrote down and all that stuff. So I
Right.
just keep that in my head. And I'm just like, got to do it this way. And whenever I get a chance to really, be active, especially at this new station I'm at,
Hmm.
whenever I get a chance to be active and kind of like, show and tell and everything like that, it's more easier for you because now you don't have to worry about just thinking of a line. You can just show them the scene, paint a picture of just what's going on. So bring that person to life, you know what I mean? Get that energy in there. And, people like up tempo, you know what I mean? And that's something I'm always trying to do, because I personally know that that's where I want to get back to one day, is New York City. So, and, New York City is it's all up tempo. You know what I mean? They need
Yeah.
that fast style. They need that like urgency type of reporting.
Yep.
So just whatever you can do to get yourself right. Everyone has a different way they do it, but like I know I just sit there and just take a breath, because that's
There you
that's
go.
the main. I know, because when you're thinking about it, that light comes on, all that stuff. It's just it gets crazy. But like yeah, you just gotta like flow with it. Try to be
Right.
as comfortable as you can, and just like I always look at it like what I mean, just confidence, swagger, and just always be calm. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just once you're
Keep it
cool, calm, and
100.
collected, yes, you'll be fine. You know what I mean? So
There you go. Awesome. Okay. And then one question from me, I have a question, and it is, how was transitioning from a student to a working professional for you?
I would say it was the hardest thing ever. It definitely was. It definitely was. I didn't
It's
I
a
didn't
big
know
change.
I didn't know what taxes was. I didn't nothing like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just everything was so smooth and everything like that. You have your parents to support you your whole life and everything like that. Then you
Right.
like just grow up like right then and there. So
Right.
it's crazy, but I definitely feel like it's a learning curve. I'm still learning
Hmm.
for sure, because like I'm not in any way old. Like
Right.
so
No,
I'm
not
still
at all.
learning each and every day. So
Yeah.
I think transitioning it was amazing, because you really got a chance to see that like, wow, this is life. You
Yeah.
have to learn, and you make your mistakes, but you have to like get up and just keep going, because it's like no one is gonna sit there and like take the time to baby you. Like you have to get going. So I think that transition was tough, because you were going to classes, and that, like, let's be honest, classes is easy. It's you have a set time, set schedule, all that stuff. But like now when you're working, it's constant, like every day. Like work is your life. Like there's no
Hmm.
spring break, there's no summer break. You
No.
get you got to
Nope.
take your vacations on your own. But like
Right.
everything is work, 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 and it just
Hmm.
it can get to you. But like once you enjoy what you're doing, it doesn't feel like work. So
Hmm. I agree 100%. I know when I first moved out, I like had no idea like what I like you live and then you realize like what you need, right? Like you're so used to living at home and then you get your own place or whatever and you're like, "Oh my gosh, I don't have scissors, like I don't have
yeah.
tape." Like,
Mhm.
but it is a learning experience. So you just go, you learn as you go, and I think it is a crazy transition for sure, but you get there and you adapt and overcome, I would say.
That is so true. That's so true. I,
Yeah.
I, I agree with you. I really did not have scissors either. Like I just looked at my corner over there. Yeah, I just kind of brought a pair of scissors, because yeah, it's just the little essential things you just won't have. Yeah.
Right. you don't think about it till you need to cut something.
True. True,
Mhm.
true.
Yeah. Well, Joe, thank you so much for sitting down with us today and sharing your story. I think it's really going to resonate with people. I want to give people the opportunity, if you have more questions for Joe, make sure you comment them below on this video. We can always come back and look at them and answer them. I'm sure he'd be happy to.
For sure.
Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, make sure you hit that thumbs up. There's one thing I want to ask you. Do you have anything else that you want to tell the viewers?
Yeah, definitely. How could I ever forget this? Subscribe. What are you guys waiting for? Subscribe.
Make sure you subscribe to this channel and check out the videos on the right so you can keep watching the tips and tricks that help me get 4 internships and a full-time job.